Welcome back to Anna Mondays. I'm the JJ.
Urameshi.
He's Cool Bar's gay feelings towards Urameshi. Year's 2001. For us, I believe, around that time frame. For Japan, it was 1992 to 1993 this first came out, which explains a lot of what we see.
Man, you got to think about that. We used to get a dub like 10 years after the fact.
Yeah, near 10 years. And now we're simulcasting.
No. It used to be like 10 years after the fact. then it was maybe a year or two. And now it's simulcasting.
Hey! So yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho, we're just jumping right into it. Episode 1. We're glad to be on this one personally because I can't speak for him, though I know he does love the show. Fucking, this is part of my childhood.
I don't love the first arc.
Now, I agree with that for the most part. Because there's honestly a lot more that I should give to that credit-wise than I used to watch it for.
I don't like it primarily because it is not at all like the rest of the series.
Oh no, that's a fucking given. No, absolutely. It is not what you... It's almost a slice of life.
It's like, it takes a while to get to the fighting aspect.
But when you get there, I honestly, once again, this is Tournament the series.
It's
every other arc is a tournament, so you do get a fair balance.
It's Tournament the series, but if you go in blind, you're not going to know that.
Oh yeah, it could turn you off.
You're not going to expect that at all.
Yeah, it could easily turn you off.
You could like the romance slice of life elements, and then suddenly it's fighting and you don't like it anymore.
So yeah, in episode 1, I mentioned it slightly before, killing our main character in the first 2 to 3 minutes is unique and a fun choice, and at this point in time, it really wasn't done often. Bleach! Yu Yu Hakusho! He's a mad genius. Because the shit that he comes up with is all very unique and different. The only
Togashi does it right.
The only thing that really seems to be like fluent throughout all of his series is bromances.
Bromance.
Gon. So we have this moment in this first episode, where I hear he's super cool. I hear he kills for fun. This is a great depiction of rumors in high school getting started. This is a great depiction of the avalanche effect, the snowball effect. Small rumors get started at him being a prick, and they just roll into him being a demon, though literally they're kind of right. The main point of that scene is really just showing the gossiping girls and the avalanching effect.
Yeah, it's Keiko's friends.
Yeah, because once again, this is very slice of life.
I think we would know better, and it's like Keiko and him have known each other since they were kids.
That line was amazing. I talk to him all the time. Blah blah blah. I think we would know. It's like the way they dubbed that line was great. By the way, if you have the choice of dub versus sub on this, I definitely do say go dub. I think that's the thing we should start doing on anime, dub versus sub. Since we missed JoJo sub. This one dub. Very clearly.
This one has a largely good dub. It's a fun dub, and it's the only fucking time you'll really see a good localization.
And this is back when a lot of the powerhouse voice actors really had a lot of different range and variety in their voice. Oh yeah, so Yusuke gets away. He's running from the school principal the entirety of this episode, which I thought was a total fun thing for him. I love the delinquent main character. It is a trope, but it's a fun one. Personally, for me, I like it.
I like it more specifically, though, when it's basically the delinquent is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
He's the Bugs Bunny of his school.
He's literally Japanese Stone Cold.
Literally to the fact where Bugs Bunny would even do the ear trick. So he's literally the Bugs Bunny of his school. We have this weird... this could be arguably a negative, but it's not done in a way that's actually grating. So I think I'll just put it as like a half negative. They re-show us that him getting hit scene again, even though they do that like as the first...
Oh, yeah.
They do re-show it. That being said, we get a little more this time. It doesn't feel like it's, like I said, grating on the nerves or anything. It's just, it happens pretty quick, and then we also get the really amazing moment of, and by amazing I mean retarded. So if that's me down there, who am I up here? You!
Wait, am I a ghost?
You're just dead. The wording on that makes no sense. We then get an amazing intro to one of my favorite characters in this series, Botan, who's an optimistically geared Grim Reaper. Pilot of the River Styx with blue hair, yeah.
With blue hair.
This started the blue hair thing for me and you. I think we touched upon that when we were watching it. I mean, considering her job, it's fun to have the optimistic juxtaposed to the very dark nature of what she does. They even kind of address it in the series itself.
I wonder if she says River Styx in the original audio though.
So it sets up the pilot of this arc. Yusuke has to go through an ordeal
I love that word.
The wording is really clever on this.
It's very specific.
Yeah, that's the joke there. I won't punch you. Oddly specific.
I won't punch you.
And it is aptly worded because you know they're going to ass pull the crap out of that one. Oh, you want to hold this again? I think you've done it once before, but can you hold this? You're a good holder. And stretching it out.
Yeah.
We mentioned a little before, I think. I want to mention it right now. This series has way more depressing, actually deep moments in it than I've ever given it credit for.
Yeah, you know, when we're young,
I'm glad I'm dead.
We're young, we don't pick up on this shit, and it would seem very needlessly edgy.
Except for this one line I thought was perfect. They didn't need everything else. If they had this line, everything would click. I'm glad I'm dead. People don't need to worry anymore. Because the exact word is not need to worry, you know what I mean? So it's literally also...
They won't need to worry anymore, nothing. Everyone will be better off
because they know I'm struggling, because I know I'm struggling,
they'll all be better off without me and my problems.
It's just so...
And it's just like...
deep for a young kid to think that way instantly. And a delinquent.
And Botan herself even says... It's real,
sorry you feel that way.
Sorry you feel that way at such a young age.
Yeah, addressing the fact that,
it's
wow.
And it's like, that's dark.
From that, we'll switch to episode 2. But we hear all these positives about Koenma, and then they unfortunately do a potty train joke.
Oh, yeah, that fucking
We get it. He looks like a baby. He isn't a baby. The main character's a dick. He's gonna push him for being a baby. Can we at least keep these concise, these moments? Because they're not... they've aged pretty badly.
I am potty trained.
In all fairness, I probably loved this when I was younger.
Okay, that was just one of those ill-conceived jokes, in the localization.
Think about a joke for the future, please, because in 2001, it probably slayed. Later on,
it worked on Toonami. It doesn't work now.
So the plot basically sets up that Yusuke has to creep on people during sleep because the connection's better. That's a thing that happens. Kind of. It's BS. I think it's kind of clever for the series BS. At
this point, Yusuke is a professional in being a creep because
the idea of being closer to the astral realm.
He repeatedly assaults Keiko, so it doesn't matter.
So we then set up Kuwabara. He has great ghost senses, which is a major point in the series.
He's in tune.
In the next mini arc of the whole getting ready for the Genkai's mini tournament, that whole thing, you really have a lot of Kuwabara pushing that whole... He's slightly better at sensing things than everyone else. His whole family, you find out, might be slightly better, which I think is fun.
Including his very obviously emotionally disconnected sister.
She's a straight-up nihilist.
But one time she gives a shit about anything, and it's the random douchebag who runs the dark.
Yeah, and they share a cigarette together. Want to get together and share lung cancer? It's a very important setup for them to do. It's a good setup, and they do it early. This is how you set up things later on. You don't just pull powers out of nowhere. Yusuke is fighting his way through towns of Kuwabara's enemies because I thought this was a really fun scene because he had to possess him, of all people, to go tell Keiko what he needed to tell her. So you have this amazing scene.
Kuwabara look like the creepiest motherfucker.
I mean, not just that, though. You also have an amazing scene of fighting through an entire town.
Yeah, does Kuwabara pick a fight with everybody?
Is there anyone he doesn't try to beat up? And then you also have a really fun line. Well, that's all, this is what I mean. The series is very fun. You have this really fun line of, he knocks someone out, Yusuke as Kuwabara. Damn! I'm giving him a good name. The hatred they have with one another. We end this one with Keiko getting Yusuke's message. We finally get that, and Kuwabara being a little creepier than he probably should be. He even addresses it later and says, I'm sorry about it.
What makes it...
Creep. So we end with what we said, her getting the message, and we end with the egg sitting in his hand, which is the whole ordeal they set up.
Wow. Realizing more and more that we pronounce the names wrong because Funimation stopped.
What?
We just pronounce names wrong.
Like Urameshi, Urameshi.
For Kuwabara, you gotta roll the R.
Kuwabara?
Yeah. For Urameshi, it'd be Urameshi.
The whole ordeal with the egg is basically if he puts too much negative energy into it, it will basically eat him. If he puts too much positive energy in it, then it saves him and it brings him back to life. It's his way out. It would guide him, I believe they said. But wait, that's a plot hole, isn't it? Because he doesn't really use the egg to guide him.
Yeah, but that's not what I was thinking.
Okay.
I was just thinking, this sounds oddly like what hollowing is in Bleach.
Bleach is terrible! I'm not making it up. So episode 3. Kuwabara saves Keiko out of his own sense of both basically justice and apology.
Yeah. Which just goes to show his character.
That's the entire episode. This entire episode is just Kuwabara's character, the episode. A teacher bets a student to not fight for a week. How about ever? Why are we really doing this?
Okay, you're gambling. In a school.
Yeah.
And it's all about getting a student to stop fighting for only a week. There shouldn't be a limit on that.
No, yeah.
There should not be a
You
limit
stop
on that.
beating the shit out of other students, period. Kuwabara takes a beating for this exact bet, which shows his character, as we've said.
Yeah.
A very passion-filled scene of him not throwing a punch. But once again, I did bring it up. Granted, yes, you were right. He wasn't fighting. It still looks like he was part of the fight, just because he walks in with Kuwabara not actually doing anything.
Yeah, it still looks like he actually fought.
Yeah, it still looks like he fought.
And the teacher's already an asshole.
Very clearly a prick.
He doesn't have to take Kuwabara's word for anything.
Yeah, one picture of Kuwabara getting punched. I watched him throw punches. Fuck it. I honestly feel like this part of the episode, had it ended here, I would have really liked this episode. But from here, a third through the episode, the last 2/3 become Kuwabara the test scramble. Fucking go ahead and just scramble for the test. Go ahead and memorize all these things from all these books. Pass out on the desk, and then have Yusuke Urameshi
pop into his dream and be like, okay, we're not done with this.
Spirit cheats. Yusuke possesses a random girl. I'm about to break something down that I don't know if anyone else has thought about. Yusuke possesses a random girl and uses that girl to destroy an entire gang following Kuwabara, who hates Kuwabara.
This decision then traumatized her life.
Not just traumatizes her, but ruins her entire life. Because she is now drawn into this gang war.
I'm just saying, typical gang work is...
We're getting back at the bitch that just kicked the shit out of us.
If you find a random person who just happens to be part of the gang, beat the shit out of them, that gang is going to do something to get back at you or recruit you. You
just killed somebody.
Let me show you another way of grading.
Yeah, he's openly in front of the fucking principal.
Yeah, they're saying that they're talking to each other.
The one man that can stop us is right there. Let's discuss our plan further.
They are literally being the most piece of shit teachers possible.
Not even quietly.
In front of the principal.
We end with the most corny line.
Oh.
You reached Kuwabara, Urameshi, with your feelings. With your feelings. When you do heart for the sake of heart, fine, make it little. This was such a major... The feels try to sprinkle it on, and you just... Put it this way, when you spray on Golden Crust, it's not a good equivalent for Golden Crust.
To me, this is...
When you spray on heart, it's not an equivalent for heart. The story picks up with a race for the egg to hatch, for either evil or his safety.
Yeah.
And I say it that way because they're treating it like a only time, and they're just waiting it out, and it's like this weird, like, almost anti-race of like, well, all we have is time, but that's what we're racing to. It's this weird feeling that we're just kind of waiting for something to happen. The argument between Sayaka, Yusuke, and Botan, the whole lip flaps, oh boy. Oh god, I really don't want to
nothing about this episode was good. I think this was clearly, very obviously done by a different animation studio.
Yeah, this was outsourced, and we don't know for a fact, but
we don't know
I'm pretty
for a fact,
sure,
but
I think it is.
This episode had a lot of mistakes and odd animation choices. Fucking wide eyes, fucking weird, just lip flaps.
Weird eye lines.
People sliding into panels.
Because of laziness in their animations, they just dragged it frame by frame instead of actually having movement to it.
I believe it was Pierrot. I believe it was Pierrot.
They were one of the ones listed as studios. I just want to say, man, we've come really far in terms of quality and nitpicking behind an actual like dub as far as lip flaps and the cleanness of it.
For this particular episode, though, and the lip flapping problems and whatnot, I'm not going to blame it more on the voice acting more than I am on the animation. It just was bad animation for the episode, and I think it's hard to follow when there's bad animation.
Yes, because it is very harsh, Charlie Brownish mouth movements.
Yeah, everything's really stiff. It's just obvious this was done by the studio.
But I do want to say that it felt like everything was relatively green in general at this time.
No, yeah.
So I feel like it was just ironing out the kinks.
This was early Funimation, so it was like they were rough around the edges.
So this episode is relatively slow because Keiko's actually the plot mover. She's the one that everyone is following because basically we set up the idea that Sayaka has to follow to see if Yusuke actually impacted anyone's life.
The investigator, who was a blue-haired child.
This little girl. Sorry for yawning a lot. It's been a really rough couple of days.
Blue-haired child with vacant eyes.
Yeah, really weird design choice, really weird, oh boy. Just weird all around.
This felt like a filler episode.
That's what I want to mention. We're getting there really soon. This episode actually has a status quo as God moment. The other thing that I dislike about Keiko, aside from her being the plot mover, because she's honestly a very boring character, I should say one note, not necessarily boring.
Her
she's a very good soul, but that's all she really is.
Her sole purpose is really just being...
Getting Yusuke to be a better person. Really what it is.
Yeah. The connection between them is more one-sided and becomes less one-sided until the end.
That's true.
Because Yusuke looks at her as more of a childhood friend who he...
Slash mother.
She is his mom.
She really is.
She is his mom. His mom is not... She takes more care of this kid than his mom does.
It's kind of true. This is a really weird transition to try and make right now because I want to bring up that... We just talked about how Keiko's his mom. Now I want to bring up that she tried to take advantage of Yusuke's body. Probably the worst connection I've ever had to
This was, like, I don't know how shit would be viewed in Japan, but, like, to a Western audience, this just looks like misery-level shit.
Yusuke then has to choose between Keiko and the egg to save his own life at this point. Because the building is just collapsing around, fucking fires everywhere, convenient timing. Throw the egg in and everything will be fine. It'll come out early and save her, despite that not being what the egg is. The egg is if you've been putting negative energy in it, when it hatches, it'll kill you. So, by all rights, if it hatches inside the fire and he's been putting negative energy in it, by all rights, it should probably kill her. But whatever, the egg does what it needs to do. The egg comes in, it shines, it saves, fucking everything happens. And then you have the real, like, legit moment of, so wait, I get another chance, right? That was all a test and I passed?
Is there some way I get to turn this around?
No.
And no, they're just like, we told you before you made the choice.
Yeah, you know what you're doing. And then Koenma comes in. Ass pull shitty! They mention that mom left and she's responsible for the house almost burning down because she left it alone and she was out on a bender and...
Well, Keiko didn't...
You are a dumb, neglectful person.
Yeah, she's dumb and neglectful, but at the same time, Keiko was there. She could have turned stuff off.
She didn't know that shit was left on because nobody does that. Then again, you know the mom. You know the mom. That's the perfect time for me to mention this. This, as I mentioned, this is a status quo as God episode. Everything resets. They come down. They give him a new egg. Everything is fine. The house is literally okay. The next episode.
No, they're in a new house.
They said it's a new house?
Yeah, fire insurance.
That's the worst status quo as God ever. Everything just goes back to how it was in the last episode. It has to be a new house because fuck off, man.
I feel like it has to be a new house.
That is one of the worst tropes. We need to stop that one. Move on to the final episode in this taping that we're doing, episode 5. You ready for the best quote?
They must give it to you. Through the lips.
Through the lips.
No, through the lips.
Lips. Yeah, like lips. What? That's Koenma telling to Yusuke what his new goal is. He needs to get someone to kiss him by midnight because Cinderella is the last movie Koenma watched. That's about as good of an excuse as I can think of. Oh, god damn it. I hate this mom character so much. I really do. So shit's going bad. Your son is like at home, near dead, but at this point she even knows he's not dead, right?
Yeah, they always said, he's alive.
Yeah, they even had that established, I believe. And she's out partying with cross-dressing men in a club. Why does Yusuke even want to come back? Keiko racing to the kiss is honestly just cheap tension. It really is cheap tension. It's your time bomb moment. We've hit almost every cliche in these first few episodes. And she gets there literally at clock at 1, which is the cliche. And we get the Keiko from Yusuke, which was very clearly just for the episode preview. Of course, just makes it in time, but just so they can move the goalpost.
She didn't make it.
What do you mean, no?
Yeah, Yusuke's not here, so...
Yeah, what do you mean, no? Yusuke no-sells a mugging, and I really like that, because after the ordeal that he went through, it's literally...
No cells. I'm mugging. No, he's just happy that he can.
Give me all your money.
He's just happy that they can see him and that he can feel things. Oh, it's great to be alive, isn't it? And then just walks past.
I love how the guy's about to beat the shit out of him.
He's like, hey,
Joey,
Joey,
don't do it.
It's not,
Joey, don't do it.
It's wrong to mess with the crazies.
He's crazy as shit.
It's like it's wrong to mess with the crazies, man.
He's either drunk or crazy, and we don't want none of that. Fuck that guy. And we meet Eikichi in this episode as well as one of the creepiest, like, fucking disgusting villains in the series that is only in for like 1 minute.
Dio Light.
Dio Light. Oh my god! Instead of dogs, it's cats.
Dio Light.
Dio Light. Can't believe you're doing all that for a retarded fuzzball. That was an actual line.
Like,
retarded fuzzball.
I was gonna add more to the Dio comparison. He has his little gang of henchmen and everything.
Yeah. These bullies pull a broken bottle on a kitten. This is all too much. When that scene happens, that's when you realize this is like Naruto throwing the puppy in the river, like, over the top.
No, it's so
edgy. This is actually just getting kind of funny now. It's handled so over the top, it's taken so far, and it's so quick that it goes that far that it's actually kind of comedic. It's just, we really, did you really just pull a fucking bottle on a cat? Really? Really?
Yeah,
I'll do it, man, I'll do it. Like,
I'll do it, man. No, I can't. I can't sit there and just hit my guys like that. No, like.
Dude, your guys even said, "Go ahead and do it. We'll just pretend it's his fault," which it is.
Once again, more edge. We're just gonna make it think in our heads that it was him who hit us,
it up,
and we'll get him back. Yeah, we'll get him back.
The demon is finally captured at the end of this episode, and we tease Yusuke's first mission for the next episode, which is legitimately his first mission. Like this, even though this felt like a mission. Anyway, that's going to take us to the end of this week's Anna Mondays. Thank you for joining us. If you can, click the arrow below to see what we're doing next week. It's probably going to be part 2 of this, I believe. I'm not entirely sure. Check anyway. Think it will be. If you can, hit like and subscribe. I've been the JJ. Oh god, the last few episodes. That'll do us to someone.